Has an update down in the pits.
Well, Don, as you can see, they're busy as bees right around the back end of this Atlas Van Lines, and once again, it's the shaft. It's twisted completely down, like Lake of the Ozarks last week when they were trying to get ready for the final. In that case, they made it. In this case, for Heat 2A, I doubt it.
And Jim, I guess we'll have a 5-boat race for 2A. The Squire, Executone Telephones, American Speedy, the Houston Gold Cup, Rampage 3, and it appears the day is over for Atlas Van Lines. This is extremely unfortunate because the Atlas Van Lines company announced this weekend they will not return in 1985, ending a 17-year marriage in unlimited hydroplane racing. And Chip, of course, wanted to end with a victory here in Houston. So with a 5-boat field, here we go with Heat 2A, the second flight of heats today. The Executone Telephones, the blue, dark blue, white boat. And all of them are coming in way too early. You can see that they're slowing way down, creeping their way towards the starting line. The Executone on the right of the screen, way out in front, and I believe George Johnson will jump the gun. There's the gun. Yes, the Executone Telephones has jumped the gun. You see the American Speedy Printing with Ron Snyder in lane number 2. And here they come into that wide first turn. On the way inside is the Rampage 3 in lane number 2, the U-80. That's the Houston Gold Cup 85 with Ron Armstrong. Ron Snyder out of Piqua, Ohio in the American Speedy Printing in that classic conventional boat with a slight lead in lane number 2 as they come around and head down the back straightaway here on Clear Lake in Houston, Texas. American Speedy Printing extending that lead. The Executone Telephones is slowing way down. Power problems for George Johnson. The Squire Shop is running all right. Remember, they have only really one fuel tank. They don't have the other fuel tank, which helps them get through the turn. There you see the U-80, the Houston Gold Cup 85. A beautiful shot. And there the leader, American Speedy Printing, coming around and completing lap number 1. Let's get a speed. 112.4 miles per hour for your leader, Ron Snyder and American Speedy. Mickey Riemann, a man who has won virtually half the heats he's been in, is struggling along with that steering problem and maybe a fuel supply problem for the Squire Shop. American Speedy, you might be able to tell when he comes around the turn, those extended exhaust pipes coming out of the turbo section of that Allison engine. They call it the Texas Longhorn, looks a lot like it. Here's the Rampage 3 with Jerry Hopp driving. Let's see, you can see there the extended exhaust. That helps keep some of that heat and the fumes away from Ron Snyder as he drives that conventional boat. A lot of heat comes off that engine, a lot of exhaust, sometimes a lot of oil too. But right now, Ron Snyder is easing along with that one and only engine he has to work with. Second place, Houston Gold Cup 85 with Ron Armstrong. Mickey Riemann in the Squire Shop with more problems. They have 400 points for the day. Even if they go dead in the water here, they still have a pretty good shot of getting into the final. But Ron Snyder, the man who has struggled ever since about, the Madison race, I would say, in 1984 with engine problems. They've gone through virtually 10 engines since that time. Lots of smoke coming out of the Squire. It appears to be finished for 2A. This boat running like a clock right now. As I said earlier, they switched oil brands, and the engine is running great. That engine that has been on loan by the Joe Ritchie Spirit of Detroit. The U-80 with Ron Armstrong. The envy of really every boat camp with their engines. They run a beautiful system. If they had a lighter boat, they would really be competitive. They're doing very well today. As you see the American Speedy go by the Squire Shop dead in the water. There's Mickey Riemann with a front row seat and watches the second place boat go by. Jerry Hopp picking up more points. That boat just keeps running. It too has an Allison engine in it. American Speedy. Who could forget when this boat was the Atlas Van Lines, the pay and pack in years past. It's the last really competitive boat still on the circuit in that conventional design. It never changed it. It was designed and built by Ron Jones. The Rampage 3. Chip Hanauer once drove this boat years ago. Brenda Jones, in modern history, one of the only women to race in that boat. And now Jerry Hopp is driving it. Here you see Ron Snyder again in the American Speedy Printing. Ron was the national points leader in the first couple of races in 1984. Back to Armstrong in the Houston Gold Cup 1985. He's in second place as he comes around that wide turn. And the checkered flag is awaiting Ron Snyder in the American Speedy Printing. What a comeback. It has been a long struggle for these people. But Mr. Snyder and American Speedy Printing is back. Winner of Heat 2A. Second place, Houston Gold Cup 85. Looking at the results, as many as 1, 2, 3, 4 boats could possibly get into the final. The Squire Rampage Gold Cup 85 and American Speedy Printing. Let's go down to Jim in the pits.
Well, Don, we've got a happy driver right here. Ron Snyder from Piqua, Ohio, driver of American Speedy Printing. First victory in a long time, Ron.
Well, Jim, you know, as you know, in the last few races, we haven't even finished a heat, let alone, go 5 laps. And it's 6 laps here. So, thanks to Jim Harvey down there on the Squire shop and for giving us the Bardall that he had. And
what about Joe Ritchie? I understand that you bought an engine from them, and this was the winning engine.
Oh, yeah, with great thanks to them. We had no motors after the Lake of the Ozarks, and they said, hey, we got an extra one. We don't think we'll need. Take it. So here we are in 2 heats already, and look like we're going into the final on 1 motor.
One preliminary heat remaining in 1984, featuring the Renault and this boat, the Light All-Star. Coming up.